Hi Lakshanya, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, do you have any doubts with respect to last class?
No, sir.
No. Huh? Okay. We'll wait for a couple of more minutes. If you have any doubts, please ask. Okay. You're practicing problems, right, on the side? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Did you get time to do your mock test? I know it's tough, but mock tests are very,
I
very.
haven't done anything till now. I'll be doing it tomorrow or something, sir.
Okay, okay. Please start doing mock tests, okay? Like, what I would suggest is if you haven't done any mock test at all, don't expect a great score first up. Hmm. All right. Like the first mock test
Same,
everybody
sir.
does generally. Like even if they know the subject, there's a thing about writing an exam. That's an art. Okay. So getting there will be tough as well. All right. So just keep that in your mind. So if you get low marks, do not get demotivated. It's nothing. It means nothing. Okay. Just keep going, giving more exams, and the improvement will be natural. All right.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, just start doing previous year mock tests. That is what I would suggest. Mm. If you have the time, do till 2000, like from 2020 onwards, like till 2000. But then I would
Okay.
say go from 2020 to 2015 at least. Hmm. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we just wait a couple of minutes for everyone to join. Let's just begin the class. Okay, Lakshanya. Anyways, recorded, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. So, okay. You understood the skew lines case,
Yes, sir.
distance to skew lines. You understood that image, like A2 minus A1's n cap component. Okay, A2 and A1 are 2 points in the skew lines. A2 minus A1's, like they're any 2 points. Hmm. But we are looking at their n cap component. Okay. Hmm. Now, parallel lines. Okay, you have two parallel lines. Okay, so I will call one as L2 and the other one as L1. And A2 is a point on this, and A1 is a point in this. How do we find the distance between these two? Distance between the two lines here.
Can we separate it as horizontal component and vertical component?
Hmm, yes, but how?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. Because if you take a line, like two parallel lines, their perpendicular components will be in any direction, right? On a disk. You can imagine a disk full of rays. The perpendicular component will be anywhere on that. Okay. So here, okay, I'll just name these points. This is B, this is A, and this is point M. And we need to find the distance AM. Okay, so this will be some angle theta. Okay, what can you say about AM point? That will AM distance. That'll be AB sin theta, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. So this you can write it as AB sin theta, which is nothing but A2 minus A1 sin theta. Okay. And let the parallel vector be some b vector. Okay. Let the parallel vector be b vector. Like this is a vector parallel to both of these. Hmm. So now AB cross B is what?
Zero?
No. AB is this way, right? Hmm? B is this way.
Oh,
They're
okay,
not parallel.
sir.
They're not parallel. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is AB cross B? You can write that as AB to B into sin theta, right? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So this I can write it as this AB sin theta, write it as AB cross B divided by mod B. Okay. So this is the length AM. Now what is AB here? AM is nothing but A2 minus A1 vector cross B vector. You take the modulus, okay, not the direction. You're taking the modulus alone because that is where you get AB and sin theta. Hmm? Divided by
Yes, sir.
mod B. That's it. This is how you find the distance between two parallel lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's do a couple of questions now. Find the shortest distance between r equal to I plus 2j plus k plus lambda into 2i plus j plus 2k and r equal to 2i minus j minus k plus lambda and plus mu into 2i cap plus j plus 2k cap. Okay, so there are two lines here. You can recognize them as lines, right? That is step one. And now you see that they're parallel vectors. So this is a point on the line, and this is a vector parallel to the line. Okay, both the parallel vectors are the same. So you're looking at two parallel lines. Are you following?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now can you find the distance?
Using the formula AM is equal to.
Yes. But I would suggest use the logic first time you use the formula. Please use the logic. Hmm? Okay.
Okay, sir.
This formula you can easily use here anytime you want. And that's not the point. Get 9jk minus 3 minus 2, 2, 1, 2. Come 2. Hi Varun, please note this formula for distance between two parallel lines. Okay, please note this formula, and then we were doing this question, finding the distance between these two parallel lines.
Okay.
This is mu here. Okay, here. Are you getting the answer as root 101/3?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's sorted. That's good. Now, let's move on to the next question. We find an equation through the point, find the equation of line through 1, and intersects lines x minus 1/2 equal to y minus 2/3 equal to z minus 3/4. And the other line is x plus 2/1 equal to y minus 3/2 equal to z plus 1/4. Okay.
So what should we find in this question?
Find the line that passes through 1 comma 1 comma 1. So that means the line will look like this: x minus 1 by a equal to y minus 1 by b equal to z minus 1 by c. Now it should intersect this line and this line. They gave a condition for two lines intersecting, right? That is very useful here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So basically, this is the condition for two lines to intersect. Okay. The vectors parallel to it and the difference between the 2 points, the box product will be equal to 0. Okay, for 2 lines to intersect. Okay, so let's take this as line L1. So B1 vector will be 2, 3, 4. A1 vector, you know, is the point, which is 1, 2, 3. Similarly, B2 vector will be 1, 2, 4. And A2 vector will be -2, 3, -1. So if it's given that this line through 1, 1, 1 passes through the point of intersection of these 2 lines, what would you do? Okay, this thing we are just digressing here. Okay, if it passes through the point of intersection of these 2 lines, what do we do first? We find the point of intersection of these 2 lines, right?
Yes, sir. Then we'll find the point of intersection of that point and the intersection point.
Correct. So what we can do is point of intersection of that point, as in this first line you mean?
Yes, sir.
Using the first point and the intersection point. Okay, now I got it. Okay. So yes. But the question is different, okay? Line goes through 1, 1, 1, intersects these 2 lines. But if we were asked to find the line going through this and the point of intersection of these 2, first thing you check is for these 2 lines, L1 and L2, okay, you check the A1 minus A2 will become 3, -1, 4, and then B vector is 2, 3, 4, and C vector, and the other vector is, other B vector is 1, 2, 4. Okay, this box product should be equal to 0. So basically, in other words, I have to say that 3, -1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. I told you, right? Box product is just same as determinant. This should be equal to 0 is the first thing we check. Okay. To find the point of intersection, what we do is, okay, so this becomes 3 into 12 minus 8, -1 into 4 minus 8, plus 4 into 4 minus 3. So 3 into 12 minus 8 is 12, minus 4 into minus 4 minus 8 is -4, -4 into -1 is +4, +4, +4. This is equal to 20. This is not equal to 0. So we can say that these lines are skewed. Okay. These 2 lines are skewed. That is why they don't intersect. All right. But if you were asked to find the point of intersection, what would you do? You write the first line's generic point as 2 lambda plus 1, 3 lambda plus 2, 4 lambda plus 3, and put it into this equation and find the correct value for lambda. Okay, understood? If they are actually intersecting, what you do is you find the generic point, put it into this, and then find the value of lambda, put the value of lambda back into this, you get the intersection point. That is actually what happens. All right. But here,
Sir, can you repeat?
Yeah. So, did you understand this one? 2 lambda plus 1, 3 lambda plus 2, 4 lambda plus 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is a generic point on this line. So the generic point on this line, if they intersect, that same point will satisfy this line as well, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I put that point into this.
In the place of X, Y, and Z, sir?
X, Y, and Z, exactly. And from there, I fetch myself another value of lambda. Okay. So it should all come out to one value of lambda. It can't intersect at more than one point, right? It should give exactly one value of lambda. That value of lambda, you put it back, you get the point of intersection. Okay. But here the question was different. This line, okay, with B vector being ABC and A vector, which is the point on it being 1, 1, 1. Okay, I'm writing it like this, just to save space. Now I have A1 vector, B1 vector, A2 vector, B2 vector. Now I have to find if they intersect or not, right? So what will I do here? A minus A1. So L line should intersect with L1 and L2 separately. That's the idea, not at the same point. Did you understand the question now? Okay. the lines L and L1 should intersect separately, while L and L2 should intersect separately. Okay. So for that, you bring out two conditions. What are the conditions? The box product is equal to 0, which means A minus A1, which will be 0, 1, and 2, or A1 minus A, doesn't matter. Okay. This should come out to 0. That's the idea. So plus or minus really doesn't matter. Then B is ABC, and B1 is 2, 3, 4. I can find a relation between A, B, and C. Okay. Using the other one. Okay, I'll get this one as 0, 1, 3, A, B, C, and minus 2. Sorry. Sorry. It doesn't become 0, 1, 3. It becomes minus 2, minus 1, which is minus 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. And minus 1 is minus 2. This ABC and 1, 2, 4.
So what are you doing in this step?
Huh? So here I'm saying that the box product A2 minus A1. So if B1 is from the first line and B2 is the parallel vector from the second line, this box product will be equal to 0. So in this step, what I did was A2 is the point, which is the A on the first one line, which is 1, 2, 3. Okay, the point given 1, 2, 3 minus the point in our line here, which we need to find 1, 1, 1. Okay.
Okay,
B1
so got it.
is ABC. B2 is 2, 3, 4. The rest of you understood? Okay. So this is nothing but a determinant. Okay. So that is what I write here. Right here. And then I do the same for the second line. Okay. So this should also come out to 0. So I get relation between A, B, and C as minus A into 4 minus 6 is minus 2 plus B into minus 4 plus C. Sorry, minus C into minus 2 equal to 0. So I get this as 2A minus 4B plus 2C equal to 0, or A minus 2B plus C equal to 0. Then in the other case, I get minus A into 1, 2, 4 minus A into 8 plus 4, which is 12, plus B into minus 12 plus 2, which is minus 10, plus C into minus 6 minus 2, which is minus 8, is equal to 0. So here I can say that 6A plus 5B plus 4C equal to 0. All right. Okay, so I have two equations in three variables A, B, and C. Okay, I am looking for values of A, B, and C, right? But the values of A, B, and C are put into the equation of a line. Okay, so even if you multiply everything by lambda, it'll still be correct. Are you following, guys? All right.
Yes.
Even if you get a multiplied version of A, B, and C, you are sorted. So what I'll simply do to solve two equations, okay, three variables, you can't solve. Okay, that's the answer. You'll have many answers. So you put C equal to lambda here. You start with C equal to lambda. So then what does this become? 2A minus 4B equal to minus 2 lambda, and 6A plus 5B equal to minus 4 lambda. Okay, we are going to solve for both of these. Simple as that. So this equation further becomes 6A minus 12B equal to minus 6 lambda, and then I will subtract both of them. So I get 17B equal to 2 lambda. B is equal to 2 lambda by 17. A will be equal to, A is what? So look at this equation. I can write A as 2 lambda 2B minus lambda. Okay. 2b minus lambda becomes 4 lambda by 17 minus lambda, which is equal to minus 13 lambda by 17. So A is minus 13 lambda by 17, B is 2 lambda by 17, and C is 17 lambda by 17, which is lambda itself. Okay, so put that back and cancel lambda out from each part. Understood? You can cancel 17 out also from each part. Much is clear? Okay, there could be some calculation mistake. Just watch out for it. The answer I'm getting here and the answer I'm getting on the screen are different. So look. Yeah, got the mistake. It's minus C into minus 8, which makes it minus 4C here. Okay. Now that makes it plus 4 lambda here. Okay, so when I'm adding this, I get this equal to 10 lambda. B is equal to 10 lambda by 17. C is equal to 17 lambda by 17. And A will be 2B minus lambda, which will come out to 20 lambda by 17 minus lambda, which is 3 lambda by 17. Okay. So lambda and 17, I can just like remove in my mind itself. Okay. So I will call this as x minus 1 by A, which is 3 lambda by 17, equal to y minus 1 by B, which is 10 lambda by 17, equal to z minus 1 by 17 lambda by 17. Cancel out all lambda by 17 from each other. And I get this as the equation of my line. Got this? It took a little unnecessary time to solve this, but is the idea clear? What did we do here? We made sure two lines are intersecting separately. Yeah, that's all you need to make sure here. And we did that by taking the determinant, which is the box product, same thing. Okay. Now, let's move into this new thing called plane. Okay. So suppose a point x1, y1, z1 is given to you. Okay, which lies on the plane. Now, a into x minus x1 plus b into y minus y1 plus c into z minus z1 equal to 0 will be the equation of that plane. All right. This is the equation of a plane passing through a given point. So through a given point, like infinite planes can pass. Okay. So accordingly, the values of A, B, and C will change. What is A, B, and C? It is the perpendicular vector coming out of the plane. Okay. So there's a plane here. Okay. So there'll be a perpendicular vector coming out or going down, but it should be perpendicular to the plane. All right. So then ABC is the perpendicular vector to the plane. Understood? This is the equation of the plane. Generic equation is written like this: AX plus BY plus CZ plus D equal to 0. The generic equation of a plane. But if you put a point into it, this is what it looks like. Or once you put the point, once you have a point given, put the point here, you will get the value of D here. All right. We just need to find the value of A, B, and C. Sorry, A, B, and C should also be given. You can easily find the value of D. Suppose a point is given. So to find a plane, you need a point there. x1, y1, z1. Okay, some point z, x1, y1, z1, and a perpendicular vector, a, b, c. Remember area vector? Remember area vector? What was the area vector? Like you have two vectors a and b. To find the area vector, what do? You do a cross b, right? What do you get? You get the area of the parallelogram. But what about the direction? It comes out of this. All right. So that's how you describe this plane here, basically. Okay, B cross A. That plane B and A, plane on which B and A lies. This is how you describe the plane. You use the vector perpendicular to it. All right. That's just one recollection. Now, equation of a plane in normal form. This is normal form where n cap is perpendicular, is a perpendicular vector. So the plane is normal to this n cap at a distance d from the origin. Okay, so you have some plane here. Okay, now you have some origin here. From there, you construct a perpendicular. Okay, so this is d into n cap, this vector, because it's at a distance d from the origin. Okay, now this is n cap because it's perpendicular to this anyway. Now, if you take any point P represented by R, okay, so let this point be capital N. Now, here I can say that R will be equal to R dot N will be equal to D. Is that self-explanatory or do you need an explanation here? The component of R vector, like any R vector, okay, which lies on the plane, along the normal will always be D. Alright. So that is how we construct the equation here. R dot n cap is equal to D here. Alright. Now, the Cartesian form, for the Cartesian form, if I take OP as xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap and LMN are the direction ratios of n cap. Okay. Suppose L, M, and N are the direction ratios of n cap. So you can say that n cap is equal to Li cap plus Mj cap plus Nk cap. So n cap is a unit vector, which means L, M, and N will become direction cosines. Okay, L square plus M square plus N square will be equal to 1. That's irrelevant, but for your reference. Okay. Now we know that OP vector dot N vector will be equal to the distance d between them. Okay. So OP vector, what is that? Xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap dot N vector, which is Li cap Mj cap plus Nk cap equal to d. So I can rewrite this as Lx My Nz equal to d. So I used L, M, and N because we generally define direction cosines using them. So when you attach direction cosines to x, y, and z, what you get on the RHS will be the distance between the origin and the plane. Hope you got this. Any doubts here, guys? Is any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, please do the derivation on your own properly. Take on. Right, let's do one question quickly. X minus y minus 2z minus 9 equal to 0 and origin. Find the distance between them. Find the distance between this plane and the origin. What do you do here? You write this as 2x minus y minus 2z equal to 9. Okay. But whatever is attached to x, y, and z is not the direction cosines. Why? It is 2 minus 1 and 2. Add the squares, what do you get? You get the magnitude to be 3 here. Okay, add the squares, you'll get 9. 2 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. The magnitude is 3. We need it to be 1. So for that, I'll divide the whole thing by 3. Right. So then this will become d, which is the distance between them. Okay. So 3 becomes the distance between the origin and the plane. Understood? So once you get Lx plus My plus Nz, then you can say that the RHS will be the distance between the origin and the plane. Hope this was clear to you. Any doubts here? Guys, any doubts here? Are you even understanding?
Sir, can you repeat just once?
Yes, yes, yes. So we had a question like this: 2x minus y minus 2z minus 9 equal to 0 is the plane, and the origin, we'll have to find the distance between them. Okay. So this plane, I'll write it in ax plus by plus cz equal to d form. So I did that. I got 9 in the RHS. That's the only difference. Okay. Now, once I do that, I notice that x, y, and z have some terms attached to them as 2, minus 1, and minus 2. Are they direction cosines or direction ratios? They are direction cosines. They are direction ratios. Okay. We need direction cosines. So to convert that to direction cosines, I divide by 3. Are you understanding?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So this will be equal to 3, which is equal to d. So that time the RHS becomes the distance between the origin and the plane. Okay. So
Yes,
distance
got it.
between a point x1 comma y1 comma z1 and a plane x plus dy plus cz plus d equal to 0 is similar to distance between line and plane. Okay. So here what you do is write it as ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d divided by root of a1 square plus b1 square plus, sorry, a square plus b square plus c square. Okay. This becomes the distance. Okay, it's the same thing. Both these methods lead to the same answer. Are you following, guys? Distance between a point and a plane sorted? It's
Yes,
similar
sir.
to that between distance between point and line, just adding the z term. Remember, a line was nothing but a plane. Okay, line we looked at only in the xy axis. But it's actually a plane coming out through it. That's the idea. Okay, whatever line you studied till now, no, was actually a plane. In a 2D space, it looks like a line. That's what happens. Okay. Okay, do the next question. Find the vector equation of a line. Vector equation of line passing through 3i cap minus 5j cap plus 7k cap and perpendicular to the plane 3x minus 4y plus 5z equal to 8. Can you tell me the equation of the line? Did you get the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's a point given on the line, right? 3 I cap minus 5j cap plus 7k cap, right? That's a point
Yes,
there.
sir.
So the line will look like this: x minus 3 by a equal to y plus 5 by b equal to z minus 7 by c. Okay, this much understood? What is ABC? That,
Vectors. Vectors of
that
a line.
vector, yeah, that's a parallel vector for the line. Okay. ABC is a vector parallel to the line. Now, it's given that there's a plane here. Okay. 3x minus 4y plus 5z equal to 8. What information can I take out of this? 8 divided by root of 3 square plus 4 square plus 5 square will be equal to the distance from the origin. That we know. We just learned that now. But we can also find something else out, right? 3 minus 4 and 5. What is that?
Point.
Coefficient? Huh? No.
Direction cosines.
That is the direction ratio of a vector perpendicular to the plane. Are you following now, guys? Okay. This is a
Yes, sir.
vector perpendicular to the plane. Now it's given to me that the line is perpendicular to the plane as well. Okay. So the line and this vector will be parallel. So instead of A, B, and C, I can replace it with 3 lambda minus 4 lambda and 5 lambda, cancel lambda from everything, and you get this as your final answer. Done? This is a nothing question. Just write down whatever you got in the question directly into your answer. You have a point, you have a perpendicular, as in a vector parallel to the line. You have both means you can easily find the line. Okay. Understood here? So whenever you see the coefficients of x, y, and z in the equation of a plane, that'll be what? Vector perpendicular to the plane. Okay. Will be the direction ratios of the vector perpendicular to the plane. Hope this was clear. Basically, they have some origin here. Direction. Is some point A given to you. This is the r vector. The perpendicular is n cap vector. So here you can say that r minus a. What can you say about r vector minus a vector? A is some point given to you on the plane. R minus a will lie on this plane, right? Guys, are you following? There's an a vector here, which comes from origin, the point. Okay. And then there's an
Yeah.
r vector here, which is to the point P. So r minus a will lie on the plane. Are you following? If
Yes,
you
sir.
dot that with the perpendicular vector, you will get 0. This is the equation of plane in vector form. The equation of plane in vector form. I hope all of you understood this.
Yes.
Okay, then what do we have here? Okay, do this question. Find the equation of plane such that image of 1, 2, 3 in it is -1, 0, 1. Okay. Find the equation of plane where image of 1, 2, 3 in the plane is -1, 0, 1. Are you understanding what's happening in this question? You have some plane given to you. Okay. You have some point here. Okay. The image of that point in this plane. The point is given 1, comma 2, comma 3. And the image is given -1, 0, 1. So, since it's the image, the midpoint, okay, will be lying on the plane. All right. Midpoint will lie on the plane. The midpoint is 1 to -1. What is the midpoint? 0. 2 to 0, the midpoint is 1. 3 to 1, the midpoint is 2. Okay. So you get 0, 1, 2 lying on the plane. So you have some x1, y1, z1 as 0, 1, 2. What can you say about now? What do we need for the plane? We need a point on it and a perpendicular vector, right? We are sorted there. So what about the perpendicular vector? How do you find the vector perpendicular to the plane, guys? What is the 0, 1, 2? This is the foot of the perpendicular, right? Are you understanding what I'm saying here? This 0, 1, 2 is the foot of the perpendicular. From the point 1, comma 2, comma 3, and also from the point -1, comma 0, comma 1. Okay. So basically, this is the perpendicular line you've been looking for till now. Okay. So ABC, you obtain the perpendicular vector by simply subtracting these 2 points. That's enough. So 1 minus -1 is 2, 2 minus 0 is 2, 3 minus 1 is 2. This becomes the perpendicular vector. So the equation of your plane becomes 2 into x minus 0 plus 2 into y minus 1 plus 2 into z minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, this was the equation of the plane. Understanding here, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do you have any doubts here?
No, sir.
Anybody? Any doubts? Okay. Then, if you have three different given points, you can easily draw a plane through it, right? You have three given points means you have you have a triangle. A triangle means there's an area which will lie on some plane. This much is clear. Okay, so you have three given points means you can draw a plane. Okay. So equation of plane through three given points would simply be, so imagine there are points given here, A, which is x1, y1, z1, B, which is x2, y2, z2, and C, which is x3, y3, and z3. So here we need to find the equation of this plane. So for that, remember, it's simply box product. So there is some point P, which is x comma y comma z, which will represent the plane. Okay, the locus of the point P is the plane. So you can say that PA and then BA, CA. What can you say about the box product? Is equal to 0. Okay, PA, BA, and CA. So basically, you have three coplanar vectors, three vectors lying on the same plane. All right, this will be equal to 0. You can take any three vectors here, BC, AB, and BC, like that. You can take any three vectors you can form here. Okay, but take P only once because PA is given by x minus x1, y minus y2, y minus y1, z minus z1. BA and CA is nothing but x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1, and CA is x3 minus x1, y3 minus y1, z3 minus z1. and this determinant will be equal to 0. I brought P into it only once because I need a linear in P. If I bring P into it again, there'll be another x minus x2, y minus y2, z minus z2 and all. Okay, that'll cause problems. There'll be a quadratic in x, y, and z, which is not really required. Hope you're getting this. Any doubts here so far?
No, sir.
Okay, this is very powerful because the second you see 3 points, you can form a plane directly. Now we are looking at intercept form. We'll do intercept form. Okay, or actually, sorry. We'll do one question. Equation of plane, 2 points, A, which is 2, 2 minus 1, B, 3, 4, 2, and C, 7, 0, 6. Also find unit vector perpendicular to the plane. Come on, guys, quickly do this. What the answer you're getting? In this equation, no, x minus 2, y minus 2, z plus 1, and then just subtract 2 of them. 3 minus 2 is 1, 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 minus minus 1 is 3, and then 7 minus 2 is 5, 0 minus 2 is minus 2, 6 minus minus 1 is 7. So this entire thing should be equal to 0. So you get it in the form ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. So a, b, and c will be direction cosines. Find the direction ratios, and you have your unit vector perpendicular to this. I hope this was clear.
Sir, is it 20x minus 2 minus 8y minus 2 minus 12z plus 1 equal to 0?
I didn't do the calculation, but wait, what did you get again? 20?
20x
One
minus
second,
2.
So this becomes 20x minus 2. Yes.
Then minus 8y minus 2.
15 minus 7. 15, it's 15 minus 7, so it's plus 8, right? Into y minus 2. So there'll be plus, this will be minus, this will be plus. You go in that order, don't forget. Minus 1 power, r plus s, row plus column number. Okay. 1. Then the third one will be z plus 1 into
minus 12.
minus 12. Perfect. So you get this as 20x plus 8y. Okay, this is equal to 0. Divide throughout by 4. So you get this as 5x plus 2y minus 3z minus 10 minus 4 minus 3 equal to 0. So this is equal to 17. This is the equation of our plane. Now, the equation of the unit vector perpendicular to it. We use the coefficients of the plane, right? That is the vector perpendicular to it. Okay, so A vector will be, sorry, N vector would be 5i cap plus 2j cap minus 3k cap. N cap will hence be 5i cap plus 2j cap minus 3k cap divided by 5 square, which is 25, 25 plus 2 square, which is 4, 25 plus 4 is 9, 24 plus 4 is 29, then plus 3 square is 9, 29 plus 9 is 38. This becomes your perpendicular vector. Okay. So perpendicular vector can be plus or minus direction. Don't forget. You can go up or go down. Also. Okay. So this becomes your final answer. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Right. Now, equation of plane through given point and parallel to two given vectors. The plane has two vectors on it. Okay. All right. So parallel to two given vectors. Okay. So there'll be some B vector here. There'll be some C vector here. Okay. Is the reference point, which is defined by A vector. And P is the point, which I'll call R vector. So origin is somewhere, anywhere. Okay. Origin can be anywhere. So A vector is here, R vector is here. And B and C are two parallel vectors. We have a point with us, right? Okay, or use this. AP is a vector that lies on the plane. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. B and C are vectors parallel to the plane, which means since they are free vectors, I can take them and put them on the plane without changing its orientation. Okay. I can put them on the plane. Yes or no? So some B is here, some C is here. Is this much clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I can write AP as lambda B plus mu C. Any doubts here? Okay, using two non-collinear vectors, you can form any vector on the plane on which they lie, right? Remember this, we learned it initially. Okay, so I wrote AP as a linear combination of the vectors B and C. Okay, and what is AP? AP vector is R minus A vector. Okay, so I can write R vector as A vector plus lambda B vector plus mu C vector. This is how you deal with a plane when two vectors are parallel to the plane while there's a point given to it as well, given on it as well. All right. This is how it look like. So you can say here that R minus A, B, and C are coplanar. So hence R minus A, box product, okay, B and C will be equal to 0 since these three vectors are coplanar. So here I can conclude that R vector, B vector, C vector box product will be equal to A vector, B vector, C vector. All right. So write this in Cartesian form. This will become R is the point x, y, z. A is the given point, which is x1, y1, z1. Okay, so this will become x minus x1, y minus y1, z minus z1. B vector is b1, b2, b3, the components, b1 I cap, b2 j cap, b3 k cap, and C vector similarly becomes C1, C2, C3 in terms of its components, and this should come out to 0. Understood what we did here? You have two parallel vectors given to you and a point given to you. You can easily find the plane here. This is the idea here. Understood? You make a determinant, use the generic point x comma y comma z and the given point to form a vector that is coplanar with the other two parallel vectors parallel to the plane. Okay. This should come out to 0. That is your condition. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. Next comes intercept form. So you remember in a line, x by a plus y by b equal to 1, which means the x-intercept is a and the y-intercept is b. Or in other words, x-intercept is a means a comma 0 is where it goes through. 0 comma b is where this goes through. All right. So similarly, intercept form for a plane will be x by a plus y by b plus z by c equal to 1. Okay. So once you make the RHS equal to 1, what we form on the other side is basically the intercept form. Okay. X by a is the represents a to be the x-intercept, b to be the y-intercept, and c to be the z-intercept. So it is a-intercept means it passes through the point a comma 0 comma 0. So b-intercept means it passes through the point 0 comma b comma 0. And c-intercept means it passes through 0 comma 0 comma c. Yeah. All right. With me till here? Okay. So since you can do this with respect to a line itself, I'm not stressing more on this. Angle between two planes. How do you find this? There are two planes given to you. How do you find the angle between these planes? Do you understand how you find the angle between the two planes?
90 degree, no, sir.
Huh?
If the planes are perpendicular, then it will be
If they are
90
perpendicular, if they are perpendicular. But suppose they are not perpendicular, that way. How do you find the angle between both the planes? So I have the perpendicular vectors. Okay. The angle between the perpendicular vectors is good enough. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So suppose this one has perpendicular to n1 and this one has n2 cap. So angle between the two planes is given by cos theta, which is n1 cap dot n2 cap divided by mod n1 cap mod n2 cap. We know that n1 cap n2 cap mod is 1. Okay. So this becomes cos theta. So you can write this simply as n1 n2 divided by mod n1 into mod n2. Do you understand this, guys? All of you? Angle between two planes. Okay, so in Cartesian form, this can be written as a1, a2 plus b1, b2 plus c1, c2 divided by root of a1 square, b1 square, c1 square into root of a2 square, b2 square plus c2 square. This is what you get for cos theta. Now, at the next subtopic, family of planes. Okay. Plane parallel to a given plane. There's some r dot n cap equal to d1. We need to find a plane parallel to this. What would we do? R dot n cap equal to d2. Okay, it's some other constant. So here what is happening? Here you have a plane which is at a distance d1. Okay, from the origin. Okay, now we need a parallel plane. So parallel plane means what? Only the distance from the origin will change. Understood? The perpendicular vector will remain the same. So only the distance from the origin will change. That is why I call it like this. Right? Only the constant term changes. Understand? If you have a plane like this, ax plus by plus c plus d, cz plus d equal to 0, then a parallel plane would be ax plus by plus cz plus d dash equal to 0. Here, this will be a parallel plane. I hope this much was clear to you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's quickly do one question. Find the equation of a plane through 3, 4, minus 1 and parallel to r into 2i cap minus 3j cap plus 5k cap plus 7 equal to 0. So this will be like this, right? This will be nothing but 2x minus 3y plus 5z plus 7 equal to 0. And it has to pass through this point. Okay, so it's not 7, it's some k here. Okay, only the constant term changes. Remember, the plane we're looking for is parallel to this. So the constant term changes to k. And this point is given. So this should pass through this, which means 6 minus 12 minus 5 plus k equal to 0. Minus 5 plus 6 is plus 1. So k becomes equal to 11. So put that here. You get 2x minus 3y plus 5z plus 11 equal to 0 as your final answer. Guys, are you following what is happening or not?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. Now, some interesting parts. So these are the basics. Okay. You must have done most of these at CBSE level anyway. All right. Now, find the equation of plane through the intersection of two planes. Two planes intersect at a line. Find the equation of planes with that line on it. That's the idea. So basically, I take it as plane 1 plus lambda into plane 2 equal to 0. That's it. The equation of the plane 1 plus lambda into equation of plane 2 will be equal to 0. X plus by plus cz plus d. Write it for plane 1. And similarly for plane 2, write the other one. This, you change the value of lambda, you get different planes that goes to the intersection of these two planes. You understood this for circle, hyperbola and all, right? We did this family of circles, family of planes, as in family of hyperbola, family of two curves, basically. L1 plus lambda into C1 plus lambda into C2 equal to 0. So you have two curves given to you. You want to find another curve that goes to the point of their intersection. You simply replace C1 plus lambda C2 equal to 0. And find the correct value of lambda. Here's the question. Guys, do this on your own. Find plane to intersection of planes r cap into r vector into 2 into I minus 3j plus 4k equal to 0 equal to 1, sorry, and r into r dot I cap minus j cap plus 4 equal to 0 and perpendicular to the plane r dot y minus j plus k equal to minus 8. Here the question is on the board. Come on, start. Please do this on your own quickly. Come on. Quickly find the answer. Come on, guys. Quickly find it. I'll also have to solve it that way. So when I solve problems, I generally deal with Cartesian form. So I write this equation as 2x minus 3y plus 4z equal to 1. And the second equation becomes, I'll write this minus 1 equal to 0. And then second equation becomes x minus y plus 4 equal to 0. There are two equations here. This is plane 1, this is plane 2. So it should go through the intersection of the planes. Two planes intersect at a line. Please understand that first. And which means infinite planes can go through that one line. Okay. We say two lines intersect at a point, right? In 2D. L1 and L2. Right, guys? So two lines
Yes.
intersect at a point. I want you to look at them as two planes. What they really are. Okay. As two planes. Okay, coming out of the screen like this. Plane comes like this, and the other plane comes out like this. They intersect at what? They intersect at a line, right? Not at a point. It looks like a point from this angle, but it's basically a line. Understood? So similarly, okay, just like I did that two lines equal to 1 point, two planes intersect in a line. Okay. So we are looking for all the planes that go through the line. Okay, that's what I'm doing. When I do L1 plus lambda L2, I get all the lines going through that point. Okay. So here P1 plus lambda P2 becomes 2 plus lambda into x plus y into minus 3 minus lambda plus z into 4 plus 4 lambda, sorry, plus z into 4 minus 1 plus 4 lambda equal to 0. I multiplied P2 by lambda and simply added them up. Now this is the equation of the plane. But the plane I want should be perpendicular to this given plane. Okay. 2 minus 1, 1. Okay. 2 minus 1, 1. Okay. So this plane should be perpendicular to this plane. Okay. 2x minus y plus z equal to 8. Yeah, equal to minus 8. Okay, so it should be perpendicular to this, which means this plane here has the perpendicular vector coming out as 2 minus 1, 1. Okay, that goes without saying. 2 minus 1, 1 will be the perpendicular vector. Okay, so here we have a perpendicular vector. And we want this one's perpendicular vector. Okay, this plane's perpendicular vector to be. Okay, so this other plane is here. This one's perpendicular vector should be perpendicular to this. Okay, the perpendicular to the plane, which means two planes are perpendicular, which means that perpendicular vectors are also perpendicular. So there are two planes here which are perpendicular. So their perpendicular vectors will be like this and like this respectively. They should also be perpendicular. That's the meaning. So the direction ratios of the perpendicular vector for the first one would be 2 plus lambda minus 3 minus lambda and 4. This direction ratio will be perpendicular to this direction ratio, 2 minus 1, 1. Okay. So I will call one as n1 vector, the other one as n2 vector. n1 dot n2 should be equal to 0 since they are perpendicular. Okay, so this becomes 4 plus 2 lambda plus 3 plus lambda plus 4 equal to 0. So I get that 3 lambda is equal to minus 11, or lambda equals minus 11 by 3. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Right, so you get lambda equal to minus 11 by 3, and you can find whatever you want here. Find the equation of the plane. We have the equation of the plane in terms of lambda, just substitute that there. We'll get your correct answer. All right, is this much clear?
Yes, sir.
The distance of a point from a plane has been covered. Now, okay. So just like a line, like we know that a line divides a plane in two parts. Okay. So I take a point on this side. Suppose I put it into the equation of the line, x plus by plus c equal to 0. If I put this point into the line, what happens? I get some sign. Suppose it was positive. Then I take another point on this side of the line. and I put this point into the line, I will get negative value. Understood? We already did this. Okay, for lines. Now for planes, it divides the entire space into two parts. A plane divides the entire space into two parts. Similarly, okay. So if I given 2 points here, x1, y1, z1, and x2, y2, z2, and I'm asked, are they on the same side of this given plane, or are they on the opposite side of the given plane? What would you do? Suppose the plane is ax plus by plus cz plus d equal to 0. How do I check? Just put the value into it. Okay, ax1 plus by1 plus cz1 plus d. Find out if it's positive or negative. And then ax2 plus by2 plus cz2 plus d. Find out if this is positive or negative. Okay, then you can know if they are on the same side or opposite side. So instead of doing that separately, what we can do is find the ratio. If the ratio is greater than 0, it means both are negative or both are positive, which means they are on the same side. If it's less than 0, they are on the opposite sides. Understood?
Yes, sir. And if it's equal to 0, that it will be on the line, no, sir.
The point will lie on this top part. If the denominator is 0, the point will lie on the bottom part. If it's 0 by 0 you're getting, the point will lie on the intersection of both these planes. Okay. It's another extended version of what you just said. Right. If it's 0 means what happens? The numerator became 0. If this entire thing came out to 0, it means the numerator became 0, which means the point lies on the numerator. If the denominator is 0, if you get some infinite quantity here, it means the denominator. Okay, so here we are just concerned about the sign. Okay, whether they lie on the same side or opposite side. Got this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, next class we'll be doing distance between two parallel planes, or we'll do that right now. Distance between two parallel planes. So two parallel planes will look like this: ax plus by plus cz plus d1 equal to 0, and ax plus by plus cz plus d2 equal to 0. How do you find the distance between two parallel lines? C1 minus C2 by root of a square plus b square, right? The distance between two parallel lines. Distance between two parallel lanes will be, two parallel planes will be similar. D1 minus D2 by root of a square plus b square plus c square. First thing you have to make sure is the coefficients of each of these parts are the same. So you divide by the correct quantity, make the coefficients the same, and then apply this formula. Simple. All right, got this?
Yes, sir.
On that note, we'll end the class today. Okay. So next class we'll finish off planes. That is a bit. But image and all we did, right? So this won't take much time. And I'm sure you can cover it up fast. So, all right, we'll continue this in the next class. And then when are dates? When are exam dates? Guys, when are your exam dates? Can you please reply?
23rd to 26th.
23rd to 26th. Okay. All right. So you have less than 2 weeks. Okay, guys, please start doing mock tests. Okay, please start doing mock tests. You do 30 mock tests. Okay, like it's like a mock test doesn't mean simply write the exam and then forget about it. No. That is not a mock test. I have 5 minutes to tell you how to write a mock test. Okay. So those who have to go to school can leave right now. Okay. But let me tell you how to design your next 2 weeks. They are critical to your preparation. Because last 2 days or last 1 day, you should be doing nothing. That is how you should plan it. Last 1 day, you do nothing. Then, do you have your time slot ready? Do you have your time slots ready for your exam? You have your date, right? 23rd to 26th. Do you have your time slot?
Yes,
Can you
sir, but
please
it's
reply?
not confirmed, sir.
Huh?
The date's not confirmed.
Dates are not confirmed, so the time slot will be confirmed after that. Okay. So generally the slots are from 9 to 12 and from 2 to 5 or something like that. Okay, or 1 to 4. I'm not sure. Hmm. So what I want you to do is make a habit of waking up at a particular time every day. Hmm. Okay. And giving a mock test at your scheduled slot every day. The point here is to train your brain to be maximum efficient during this time slot. Okay, only 2 to 5 people feel sleepy. Only 9 to 12 people feel sleepy. I don't know how your body cycle works, but shift your cycle towards this. Okay, you should be ready with maximum efficiency during the time of your exam. So right now it's 9 to 12 or 2 to 5. We don't know for sure. So 9 to 12, 2 to 5 is when you should be giving your mock tests. Hmm. And my frank advice to you is to bunk school before your exam. All right. Your exam is coming for 1 week at least. Bunk school. Let it go. Let it do whatever it wants. Am I clear to you? Hmm. Okay. I am asking you to bunk school, but if you can, then bunk school. Otherwise, please make sure you are at your maximum efficiency this time. Even if you're not solving mock tests, make sure you're at your peak during 9 to 12 and or from 2 to 5. Okay. So there are two slots for you. So what you do now during these two slots would be 9 to 12 would be a mock test, and 2 to 5. Actually, you will need time from 2 to 8 to study the mock test, to understand the mistakes you make, to figure the patterns. You already have a logbook, right, where you keep your errors, all mistakes you make. I told you this from the beginning of this year. Keep a book where you practice. When you practice, write your errors into it. This is where this is most useful. Even if you haven't done, it's okay. What I want you to do is write a test and then analyze the hell out of that test. All right. Understand what type of mistakes you make, where you waste too much time. Okay, this question I wasted time. And then two things I'll come out of it. One is subject based knowledge. Okay, so some topics I really don't know. So I can't do anything about it. So leave that question. All right. So you have to learn how to leave a question. It's like cricket test match. Okay. You have to, so people will bowl good deliveries. You have to leave them alone. You have to learn when to leave them. Okay. You can't hit everything in one go. You're not ready yet for that. Okay. So you have to be okay with leaving a question. That's the idea. But then whatever question you attempt, it should be on the dot perfect. Okay. Whatever question you attempt should be correct. If you're going by that strategy, then whatever question you attempt better be correct. Even if you attempt only 10 questions, the 10 should be correct. Am I clear? Okay. So that is one
Yes, sir.
approach. Okay. So subject based questions you can leave. Next is careless mistakes. Careless mistakes. Like you come out of an exam hall and you think, oh shit, I should have done this. All right. So those you have to nullify. Careless mistakes, they are under your control. Okay. So these 2 weeks, when you solve mock tests, two things I want you to do here. Okay. Careless mistakes. Find all the possible ways you make careless mistakes. Be aware. That's all. That's all you can do about it, frankly. Okay. Be aware that this is a mistake I made before. This is a mistake I am intending not to repeat. Okay. So get rid of the careless mistakes. All right. And then the subject based. Subject based means there'll be weak topics, strong topics. Whatever strong you will solve, whatever weak you might not solve. But the point is, you should be okay with it. For that, you should know what your weak topics and your small topics are. Okay. And your strong topics are. Okay. So strong topics. So if your weak topics are like vast and your strong topics are weak, like small, I suggest you relook the entire thing. Actually figure out which is your strong topic, which is your weak topic. Because it's been 2 years since you've been studying, you will have a strength base. Some people will not think they have a strength base because they're genuinely humble. Okay. But I am saying you have a strong base. So for that, you solve a mock test. So with full efficiency, and 2 to 5 also with full efficiency, try to cover up the topics. Like a mock test will have the important topics, right? So there'll be topics from your week section that you haven't studied properly. So cover those topics up fast. Okay. All right. You have 2 weeks. So for the first week, this is what you do. The second week, you forget your weaknesses. That's it. You focus only on your strengths the second week. Okay. You sit and study with your strengths because you should make sure if this is a strong topic of yours, you will not miss out a question from there. Have I made myself clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So please use this advice and yeah, sleep on time, wake up on time, and stay healthy throughout. Okay, that's the only advice I have for you for the next 3 weeks. I'll see you in tomorrow's class. All right. See you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.